Hi, everyone. Great to see you. So, how are you today? Could you please type hello if you can hear me, and if the sound is okay, and if you can see me, that would be really, really useful. Okay, hi. So we are starting. It's ready to have a short chat with you. Now, while we'll be greeting each other, so hi to Transcarpathia and all the other lovely places, some of which have already been visited by me, some are yet to be discovered. I'm sure all of them have been visited by my colleagues. So on the screen below the chat, you can see a file that will allow you to install the application. So you still have, 10 minutes before we start. You can download it and install, so that will ensure better sound, and probably you'll have some better experience during our training today. So don't be shy, just try it out. So Marina is telling about bad connection. It does happen. I'm not sure why, but I've been told, and after all the experiments we've carried out, that if you download the application, that's the file connect setup under the chat box. So it should work better, and well, the connection should be better, the sound should be better, and life should be better as well. So you have time to install it. It's not big, and then join the session using the application. The connection is great. So as far as I understand, the connection depends on the level of the signal. So if you have an opportunity to connect to nice internet port using the cable, it should work great. If you are somewhere on the go, I'm not so sure. But either way, the application works better. We have 8-10 minutes for you to install it and then to chat a little bit because it's February. Today is the 13th. Lots of schools are closed, those here in Kyiv, and I know about the Western region. Lots of places. So there's Kamenets-Podilsky and Nizhyn. So these are the names that ring a bell. Some people cannot hear us. So Alessa, please try reconnecting or try to install the application. So Connect Setup. The file for download is available right under the chat box. And you can try it out. That's a new platform that we've started using this month. We want to make sure that you get that experience. So hi, Ukraine, a very broad name. So hello back from Ukraine as well. Hi to Rivna. So lots of people from Western Korea. Oh, Odessa is here. So hi, Alexandra. Nice to see you. And it's really, really great. Okay, so someone has downloaded the application. If you don't trust me, trust your colleagues. Natalia says that this is done. I don't know how it is connected, but you still have some minutes. It's quite small in size. It's not even like just kilobits of space, so that should take minutes. You install it, and then you use the very same link to access. The application is available for download under the chat box, and hopefully you hear me better, and it will be easy for you to participate. And hi to Donetsk region. Great to have you here. So have never been there, but my dad has been there lots of times on business trips. So hi to Mary and all the nice people in here who prefer to spend the 13th of February quite a late evening time, so almost 6 p.m. here with us. I do appreciate it a lot, and my colleague Julia, who is a methodologist and today is my moderator, and who's quite an expert in these tricky things called technology. It's also here, so we do hope you have them here. Someone from Zhytomyr, hi Zhytomyr. Has anyone been to a seminar today by the internal education? There were a couple, and there was one in Zhytomyr where my colleague Olena Mikhudui did great job because she has some great stuff on authenticity. Hi to Uzhhorod. So have been there, well, last June. That was great time. Perfect weather, with coffee. Highly recommend if you have no plans for May holidays. Hi to Kyiv. Yay, great. Connect. We are on the platform that we are testing right now to conduct the webinars. So if you have the program, the sound should be better. So please try it out. You have like a couple minutes to download it before we start the webinar. So some people are registered for our seminar on authenticity. So that would be great to see you, Victoria, in here. So hi to Odessa. So quite a few people from Odessa, quite a lot of people from Kyiv and the region and Bavaria and Kharkiv. So I think we have all Ukraine here. Is there someone who's outside of the country right now, but still keeping in touch with us and joining our sessions together? That's an interesting bit of information. Hi to Lutsk. My godmom lives in Lutsk, so I love the place. Also haven't been there in a long time, but that's going to change. And Cherkasy region and Lviv. Okay, so and Sarny visits quite many webinars of ours. All people from Sarny are not shy to say hello. That's great to see you here. Now, I always ask it, well, quite often do, is there someone who visits our sessions for the first time? So is there someone who hasn't been to any webinar or seminar or any other kind of event done by us? So is there someone meeting the internal education for the very first time? Oh, hi to Vishneva, that's quite close. And Zaporizhzhia, that's a lovely place. You have amazing theater. And hi to Yuzhne, that's a warm and nice place in the south. Oh, the regular visitor. So lots of people from the west. That's nice to see here. So that's very, very sweet. Okay, and Haideach and Odessa and Melitopol. Okay, so like a very nice geography picture. We should have some kind of a map and then stick all the names from all the places. So great to see you. Probably no one here for the first time today. That's unusual. Usually we have a couple of people who arrive to our sessions for the very first time. But using your web browser, that's okay. But if you have a chance, I would really ask you, and that would be a really good thing, for you to download the program that's Connect Setup. The file is right under the chat box. And from what those who have tried it say, the sound works better and probably the picture also. I'm not quite sure, but you still have a couple of minutes. So right under the chat box, you can see the file. It's downloadable. It's quite small, so that shouldn't take lots of your data, and that shouldn't take lots of time. So you can still do that before we actually start today. Now, it's the 13th of February. I hope you're not superstitious. And tomorrow is St. Valentine's Day. So congratulations. Well, being a teacher and being an English teacher, you have a lot of freedom. And that's a wonderful thing because you get to talk to your students about whatever topic uh, you want, basically. And St. Valentine's Day is part of that. So I'm not sure if you celebrate it or not, but that's a nice opportunity to have some good time, to connect with friends, with some beloved ones, people who you care about, and to have a little celebration. So hopefully have some nice plans for tomorrow. And hopefully everything is ready, so you have free time and you'll spend this time with us today with internal education. Or maybe I'm just talking somewhere and on your computer in the room and you're walking around choosing a dress, checking makeup, matching, finding the shoes that match. That's still fine. So thanks for finding time for that. Oh, someone is going to the theater tomorrow. That's a nice thing. So that's really, really good. Happy for you, Julia. Sounds like a nice plan. And if you haven't got any plans, well, it doesn't take much time to create a nice plan. Just find a couple of people who are free and then do something fun. And that sounds great. So hello, so to those joining in, that's the internal education. My name is Mariana Petrachko. I'm a methodologist at the internal education. And today, me and my colleague Julia are here with you. So Julia is a methodologist as well. And today she's my moderator. So she'll be helping you with the difficult technical issues. Hopefully there are none, but don't worry. If anything happens, Julia is the person to fix it all. Now, you still have a couple of minutes to download the application if you haven't. And I promise that's me last time asking you to do that. If you have the application, the signal is set to work better. Well, I am using the application and to me it seems all right. Well, if there are some sound issue due to your internet connection. So if you know you're somewhere with unstable connection, then I highly recommend for you to download the application, which is right under the chat box, available for download. And it's not big in size, so it shouldn't take much time. And so we are starting with all of the participants, lots of people, so almost 300, and people are joining in. We are starting our today's session. But before we start, let's check. What session did you come for? Maybe you are in the wrong place or I'm in the wrong place. Then we'll have to switch. So hi to Zakarpati and Kiev and everyone else who was saying hello while I was talking about the application. The International Relations Lyceum is here. Okay. So you just came for a session and it doesn't matter what's that. Okay, so Julia has something in mind, so she came to see if she is a lexical teacher. Okay, good. So if you registered for a webinar called Are You a Lexical Teacher? That is to happen on Thursday, 6 p.m. sharp. You're in the right place and it's lovely to have all of you here. So some people are still talking about connection. So dear Olha, under the chat box, you have a file that is downloadable. That's the program, Adopt Connect. If you download it and install it, it's quite small. It shouldn't take a lot of time. Then the signal should be much, much better. So from what we understand, because this is a new platform, we are trying, we are testing. Well, mainly because we want to provide you with the best experience possible. So this platform works best if you have installed the application. Then the sound, the picture, and everything else should be much, much better. Or if you have stable, strong internet connection, then you shouldn't have any problems as well. But well, I don't know what the system means by stable, nice connection. So please try installing the program, the application. It's under the chat box because in 20 seconds I'm switching to the webinar and this chance to install it will be gone because we will move to a different window. It is for Windows. If you're using the computer, but also you can download it to your telephone. So it's available to, I guess, both types of smartphones, those who use iOS and those who use whatever you use. So I'm not very good. She can help you with it. So you can find it on Google Play. And with the connection, that's the only way that I can do. I have no other solutions at the moment. I'm sorry about that, but we are trying to find something better. Sorry. So Julia has sent you a place where you can download the mobile app. If that works for you, then you should try it. And I think it's high time for us to start. So one more time, the file for the application is under the chat box. You can try it, get connection. It's not a big one, so that shouldn't take much time. So we have over 300 participants right now, almost 320. That's great to have you here. So quite a lot of people from all parts of Ukraine. We've chatted. We have the west, the east, the north, and the south, and the center. So that's lovely. So that's really, really good to have you here. And I hope we all have some good time. So let's get started. Okay. So as you've mentioned, to talk about teaching lexically, and the topic sounds as, are you a lexical teacher? So from the very beginning, let's think, who is a lexical teacher? Now, what would be the priority of a lexical teacher? What would a lexical teacher concentrate on? And if we are choosing out of two dimensions only, that would be vocab and grammar, the answer seems quite obvious, right? So people are still coming in and saying hello, hi to all of us. So I was talking about the communication, right? So it seems logical that for a lexical teacher, the top priority is lexis, thus it being vocabulary. But what if a lexical teacher had something bigger, a bigger picture in mind? What if there was something else? Then, when we think of any kind of English teacher or language teacher, the final outcome would be for our students to actually be able to communicate. So thus, a lexical teacher is someone for whom the goal is to enable his students to communicate successfully. And a lexical teacher believes that this goal is best achieved through the lexis, through new vocabulary. And that's what we are going to concentrate on. So today, we're going to have a quick look at 3 ideas, principles that a lexical teacher follows while teaching the language. And we're going to illustrate those with a number of activities that I do hope you'll be able to use in your classrooms. So having said that, let's have some fantastic, productive, time together. And well, let's get started. So 3 postulates of a lexical teacher. That's our task for today, for today's evening. Ladies and gentlemen, get your cups of tea or coffee, get your brains sharp and ready to type some answers. I'll be asking some questions. We'll be, thinking together of the possible answers. And let's get to work. So I will illustrate everything with HighNote. That's a brand new resource produced by Pearson. We will be working with level 3 of HighNote. I chose it because, well, it has a lot of useful features. So this resource provides the right challenge for my students. So it's quite demanding and intensive. Then it also motivates them and gets them into the topics by providing real-life content which has been developed taking into account all the features of modern teenagers and just has all the right hooks to get them. But the main reason why I'll be illustrating the activities with HighNote 3 today is its unique approach to teaching lexis. And we are talking about teaching lexically today, aren't we? So Let's get started with a quick example. So teaching lexes, so that means lots of new vocabulary. So for example, which word do you think the picture represents? So could you please type into the chat box your ideas and options? Okay, so Natalia says that's party. That's a really, really fast answer. Some kind of celebration, a party. Okay, people are complaining about the sound, so please try reconnecting or getting the stable signal or getting the application. So, well, basically, you all give the answer I had in mind while working on this. So yeah, it has in it the idea of celebrating something, uniting with your friends, and well, communicating, of course, and some well different types of holidays and celebrations. And actually, it is a party that incorporates all of this because any party is a chance to celebrate something, to communicate, to chat, to have a to have some good time, to have fun, etc., etc., etc. That's it. But now let's think as teachers and as lexical teachers. When can we say that our students know a word? Because party is quite a basic word. The students at some low levels already know it or think they know it. So of course, when we talk about knowing a word, well, we need its meaning, and then that would be quite useful if we can write it or say it, right? So spelling, pronunciation, and meaning. But let's think, is it enough to say that we know the word? Or is there something else? Let's have a look at a couple of other examples. So that's party and attend a party. That's another thing. That's what we say when we go to a party that someone organizes. It's a yeah. Now, how do we call a party that we organize? That we give a party, but how do we call this party? It's not like party. It's not a birthday party. What type? Yay! So, right, Daniel, that's a housewarming party. Great. Now, when we say that we organize a party or give a party and we want to invite our friends to a party, what would be a less formal way to say that we are organizing a party? So I think some. Oh, someone has already typed the answer, right? So we would say that we throw a party. And that's something we will never use in some formal language talking to the head of some company. Now, all these aspects are also elements of knowing a word, and thus a word party the students learn at some elementary level quite often somehow is no longer an elementary word when it's incorporated into language. And well, we as lexical teachers, and I'm sure you do all of that when you have a chance, have a very simple postulate to follow. So focus on units of meaning. So sometimes meaning goes beyond a single word. And the way we use the word depends on a unit of meaning, not on an isolated word. And that's it. That's quite simple, but let's move further. So saying that we know a word and knowing that apart from meaning and pronunciation and vocabulary, there is so much more. Let's have a short linguistic quiz. And let's have a look at a couple of linguistic features. So, lexical quiz, I'll show you a couple of terms, then I'll show you some definitions, and we'll try to check how well we remember those. So back to school time. So these are the words: collocation, colligation, gambit, function, genre. And the very first definition. Let's try to guess which word is it. So how do we call two or more words that occur together more often than on a random basis? Could you please type in your answers? So Tanya is really, really fast, saying it's a collocation, right? Okay, lots of people typing really, really fast. Type in whole words, type in the correct number. So let's check. And right you are. That is a collocation. And a collocation defines why we use this or that word together with another word. And that's why we say heavy rain and don't use strong here, etc., etc. Good. Nicely done. Now the next one is going to be a bit more challenging. So please get ready and let's try. So the next definition. How do we call a type of collocation in which words are linked together at the level of grammar rather than meaning? So lots of people typing, and Olena has already typed number 3, and we have number 1 and 4. Okay, and lots of answers, so nicely done. You're not sleeping and you're not choosing dresses for the St. Valentine's Day parties. Thanks for that. And well, so all of those who chose collocation, right you are. So collocation is a type of collocation, but here we focus on grammar features. Well, the simplest example of collocation. I saw Tom enter the house at midnight yesterday. I have no idea why I was spying on Tom, but so here somebody did something. That's a type of collocation. Why we put these words in this order, why we don't add any inflection to the second word? Well, because it's a collocation. Nicely done. Time for the next one. So hopefully you're ready. So please prepare. How do we call text that can be spoken or written and share the same structure and register and grammar and vocabulary, etc., etc., etc.? Okay, so Tanya is a really, really fast finisher today. Thanks for that. And there was someone before Tanya or not? It's going very fast. So lots of, oh, you have no problems with that. You're all just typing number 5. So that's okay. Let's wait for all the people to press and send the answer, because you're absolutely right. So that is genre. And there are lots of genres, and they define which lexis we choose and how we put it into the language. So that's something a lexical teacher needs to keep in mind. The most, well, usual ones would be invitation, lots of different letters that have like subgenres and presentations, etc., etc., etc. Nicely done. Good job, everyone. Let's move to the next one. So how do we call communicative reasons for which we use the language? And okay, Elena was really fast, so she was waiting for this question, and everyone else is right after her, so nicely done. And you don't see hesitations in any other with this one. Is so sure. Good, and you're all absolutely right. It's actually a function. So fantastic job. Yay, that is a wow. So function defines why we use language, and it makes us choose certain phrases, because when we want to disagree with someone, we would say, like, I'm not quite sure I can agree with your idea, or I understand what you mean, etc., etc. Good job. And the last one. So those of you who have been attending already know the answers. So how do you call a remark intended to start a conversation or make a telling point? And I have the right answers already. Yep, that's a gambit. And being a lexical teacher, we know that we want successful communication. We want our students to use the language effectively. So they need all of those languages. Well, the easiest example of a gambit, remember your favorite series and remember some character. And it's quite possible they have their gambits. So whenever they appear on screen or whenever they enter like the police department, etc., they use one and the same phrase that, like, the moment before they say it, you already know what they are going to say. So that's a gambit. So that's some nice kind of cliches, etc., etc. Fantastically done. Let's move further. So that was a lexical quiz. That was us remembering about different linguistic aspects of the language, because we do have in mind a bigger picture. Oh, my screen froze. And we do know that apart from these words, we have all of other aspects. That's us scratching the tip of the iceberg, because there's so much more. And we as teachers need to be teaching all of that. And of course, it's not doable in one lesson. So at times we concentrate on synonyms, at times we teach some collocations, at times we work with genre styles, etc., etc., etc. But that's like a big picture with a whole basket of different elements that we try to put into our lessons. Fantastically done. That was us working on units of meaning and on what it really is to know a word or a lexical item unit. Now we'll be proceeding. Now it's easy to say teach units of meaning or teach new lexes. Now let's have a quick look at an algorithm with the steps that are quite essential when we want our students to acquire new lexes. And well, when we want to do it lexically. So in an ideal world, we teach and our students know, but that's the ideal world. Reality is really different from that. So in real world, we teach, repeat, move further, 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 and hopefully somewhere at the end of that road, students finally know. And as that's quite a tricky road with lots of spins and turns and us moving back and forward, it has some steps that I believe are quite essential for a lexical teacher to follow. Of course, when starting with the process, the first thing we need to make sure is that our students have mastered the meaning of the new items. Thus, conveying the meaning is an essential step. There are lots of different ways how we convey the meaning. I'm sure you all have your favorite ones. So just a quick example, of course, we can mime, use gestures, draw on the board, bring real objects, show pictures of real objects, show drawings. We can use the context, definitions, and synonyms and scales and whatnot. That's all the resources we have, and that's fantastic. And of course, the choice would depend on the group, the topic, the timing. Some ways are quite faster than the other, but all of these means are at hand. Now, another part that is quite essential for us as lexical teachers, remembering that we want students not just to know lexes, but to use the lexes they know successfully in communication, is to show examples of successful use of the lexes we are teaching in communication. Thus, the next step that I believe is essential, well, for students to see examples in context. What can be context? Well, we as teachers can generate the context we need. That's one choice, or we can use the resources that we have. And well, in resources, we usually have an audio with some text being recorded or a printed text. Now, I've promised to illustrate everything with the high note resource, and that's an example of the new access in the text. Well, it's quite common for a resource to have it incorporated, but a good resource also has it highlighted and visibly marked so that your students and you can comfortably see what you have to concentrate on. So where the new lexis is, how it looks in the sentence, where it is put, etc., etc. So that's quite comfortable, convenient. And sometimes I even ask my students if I want to add something else, or if we are working with some material where the new lexis is not marked while presenting it, we simply highlight it in the text. Now, back to our steps. Context and meaning. Do they need to have this very order? Well, it depends. As we have quickly refreshed when talking about presenting meaning, context is actually one of the ways to present the meaning. When we let our students to do more of the work by themselves and to work it out by themselves, So it's up to you. You can vary the order. You can work with the context and then, well, clarify the meaning, do it vice versa, join it together into one part. But I'm sure you will agree, well, I hope you do, no one is typing no. It seems that it is quite essential for our students to understand what new lexical items mean and to see how these new lexical items behave, so to say, in the communicative situations, in written or spoken texts. Moving further. So another step for us to follow would be work on the sounds. And here I'm not talking about pronunciation work done when presenting new words. When we say our students here try to repeat, and that's, but when we talk about sound work, that's something that requires of resources nowadays have word lists that look, well, more or less like this. But quality resources like high notes have these word lists recorded. So let's have a look and let's try with you a quick activity that can be done with a recorded word list. So imagine that we have worked on a unit where the topic is appearances and clothes and accessories, etc., etc. So it's all connected with the way a person looks. And you will listen to a short part of a recording, 7 words only. While you listen, please answer the question. How many items can you put on? So there will be 7 words recorded. So this is a field for the quiz. Someone is already voting, so trying to make predictions. Now that's okay, that's fine. We can do that as well. So people are choosing the answers. Now, we will listen and you try to count and then choose how many items out of the words said we can actually put on. Now, hopefully you are ready. Please mark your answer on the box that is on top of my presentation. If you want to type it into the chat box, no problem. You
One B. Vocabulary.
Baggy, balding, belt, body shape, bow tie, broad shoulders, cap.
Okay, so I can see lots of answers. So you've done lots of prediction work. Some of you have voted, some of you have not changed their minds after the prediction stage. So 5 more seconds to put something into the table on the screen on top of the presentation, and we are finishing the poll. Okay. So that's done. Yeah, Yulia asks you to vote into the chat box. But either way, it's a lot of answers, lots of correct answers. And there were 7 words. So how many items were there? Actually, 3, right? Julia wants to redo. I've already told the answer, Julia. Thank you for spoiling the fun. Now, there were 3 words. Could you type the words? Well, maybe there were 4. Maybe I missed something. So do you remember which words were those? Okay, there was a belt and a bow tie, right? So right, Julia and Tanya, and a cap. Agree. Was there something else? Because some of you are quite sure that there were 4, well, items. But I had in mind just 3, yes. So belt, cap, and a bow tie. So nicely done. Well, maybe you've counted the words, and bow tie is like 2 words, so that might be the case. But that's a fantastic job. And that is something that, that you can easily organize with your students. You can do any type of category dictation. So you can ask your students to pick a certain category of words, or you can divide them into teams, each responsible for a category. But let's think, how much is this pronunciation work? Well, not quite. This is our students recognizing the words. When we ask them to put down the actual words, that's them practicing writing. And that's all really useful. So good job. That was not done in vain. But another thing you can easily do with the word list, and something that is directly linked to pronunciation. Pronunciation is a productive skill. A receptive one would be listening. So take a word list, choose 2-3 words, write them on the board. Ask your students to listen and, clap their hands, stand up, say stop when they hear the words. So this will be your students listening carefully to the sounding of the words and then recognizing the words. And then at some later stages, you can do the same when asking your students to read the words for the rest of the class. And the rest needs to hear certain words and react. And that would be it. So that's something quite easy to do. That's your students working on pronunciation. But let's move to another aspect of pronunciation. So this is us concentrating on sounds in the words. Now let's think how we can concentrate on the words in the sentences. So broad level. And let's do another activity. So in a second, I'll show you a couple of words. Here they are. Can you think what all of these words have in common? So loneliness, sadness, happiness, jealousy, sympathy, disappointment, embarrassment, and excitement. Yes, they do describe different types of feelings, emotions. Nicely done. That's it. They are all nouns. Fantastically. Someone is already analyzing the sound. So please listen to these words and answer one question. What do the underlined parts, if you can see blue lines under the parts of the words, what do these underlined parts have in common? That's the question. So try to listen, concentrate, analyze. And let's get back to university times.
Loneliness, sadness, happiness, jealousy, sympathy, disappointment, embarrassment, excitement.
Okay, I can see lots of answers. So fantastic job analyzing the words. I can see that our teachers are real linguists with deep training, and all of the knowledge got at university is not forgotten. So someone gave the right answer before we actually listen. Now I'm wondering if this person has been to the first time we did the webinar, but I did fantastically suffix that has and which we can. So you're all giving me all the right answers with all the fantastic linguistic terms, and that's good. That we are not just teachers of English, but we also base on lots of useful knowledge. Greatly done. Now let's have a look how this works with students, because of course I won't be asking students for the schwa sound terms and stuff like that, but they need to be aware of it. So the task was listen, that's what we did together, and find the schwa. That's what I did for you in the words. And then, so that's us and students singling out the problem, because schwa is quite a problem for students, that's quite common. Then they have to listen and practice it in the sentences in exercise 7. So let's have a look at exercise 7. And that's where our students were completing the sentences with nouns from the table in exercise 6. Now, I'm not asking you to do exercise 6. So I have the words here. Let's try it out. So I think we need to experience sadness so we can appreciate. Any ideas what we should be able to appreciate after we've tried sadness on? Lots of people typing. Happiness. Yay, nicely done. Well, that's something I don't like to, but I have to agree with when talking about myself. And what about, I don't feel any for famous people. I'd prefer to be anonymous. So what a person doesn't feel. Okay, so Victoria is really, really fast. That's jealousy. And that's us again working with feelings and emotions. And that's us putting schwa sound not just into isolation as a single word, but into a sentence, and then learning to pronounce it, not when we are thinking about it, but when we are simply working with it and when it just happens in our life. And that was our students working with exercise 6, and that's what we as lexical teachers evaluate, not just learning the new words all the time. We do learn and we do teach our students new words, but also learning to use something we already know that students, well, from simple adjectives, make not so common nouns, then they put them, work with the meaning, put them into sentences, and then it's time for pronunciation work, where we try to single out the difficult sounds, and then we work with this sound in the connected speech. So that's like a very simple pattern, but it works great. Now, exercises like that are quite common in high note when we concentrate on some tiny things that cause a lot of trouble for our students, like connected speech, when we compare the sounds that quite often are confused, when we work on the articles, on the weak forms of the words, etc., etc., etc. Nicely done. And that was us working on pronunciation. And yes, we cannot do that every lesson. And even in high note, you won't find activities like that every lesson, but there are a couple every unit. So you do a lot of actually pronunciation work, which enhances both speaking, listening, and then you can turn it to work basically for anything you need. Let's move further. So another step that's quite essential is to notice features of the lexis. And again, that's easily done with the word list and with a quite section called Remember More. So let's try the activity. Find the opposites of these adjectives on the word list. Now, I won't make you read the word list. Well, number one, because the font is small. Number two, I don't want you to hate me on the 13th of February before the St. Valentine's Day. So I'll help you out. I'll help you with the visuals. So pale skin, that's an example. How do we call the opposite? Okay. So right you are. So really fast typing skills. Everyone, nicely done. So that's pale dark, right? That's a typical opposite pair. Now, let's move further. A skinny model is someone who looks like this. How do we call someone who looks like that? Okay, we can call the person plump and chubby. Yeah, but then a plump model. That's the right definition. But actually, what students learned in this unit, and that's High Notes 3, that's quite a high level, plus size model. Something they hear every day, but somehow never connect to English, although it does come from English. And so the activity goes on when students have smart, casual clothes, short, long sleeves, curly, wavy hair, and in other times when they work on collocations, on phrasal verbs, on some compound adjectives. All of these words were present on the pages of the book. Not these words were active vocabulary because some of them are quite simple. The idea was behind noticing the features of the language is that we teach our students to make connections between the words and thus allow them to use their vocabulary more effectively. When they, in case they forget a word, when they are able to just pull the opposite or the synonym or transform it so they can work with the language better and thus they can communicate better. And that's what we as lexical teachers have in mind, or any teacher. Now, Yura is thanking you for all the wonderful answers because that's terrific. Nicely done. And let's move further. Now, it seems we've done a lot. We worked on the sounds, we've noticed the features, the context was there, the meaning. But when can we say that students really, really know the word? And here is something that we need to remember, the final goal. We want students to be able to communicate. So the next step would be do something with the lexis. And by do something, let's take this ability to communicate with the successfully. So we need to create situations where students can do something meaningful for them, where they get and that's easily organized. Let's have a look. So we've done a lesson on appearances, clothes, etc., etc. So let's look at a very easy to organize activity. So it sounds like that. Look at the photos of style icons in pairs and follow the instructions. So for the activity, you just need photos, preferably of some famous people, but not necessarily. So students are split into pairs. A, B. You give them 1 minute. During this minute, student A has a photo which he tries to remember all the details of. Meanwhile, student B writes down as many questions about the photo as he can. So student B knows, I will need to find out as much information about the picture as I can. Student A, I will have to answer all the questions I can. 1 minute. Minutes finished. So, student A covers the photo. Student B asks his questions, and student A answers the questions. You can ask your students to write down the answers, to draw the answers, or just to remember and then check, compare with the pictures. Then, of course, students need to swap. So this time, student B gets a photo. They have 1 minute to remember, to write questions, ask and answer. So I took this directly from High Notes 3, where all the procedure is done for you. Pictures are ready, sample questions are ready, but you don't need anything to organize it into the classroom. So what I sometimes do with my students, they all have smartphones. So I ask them to find a picture on their smartphone of a person. It can be them, it can be someone else. And then they remember their own picture, answer the questions, describing where they are, what they are doing, who they are with, or if that's them at all, it can be someone else. And then they get to speak about something meaningful to them. They are happy, and I'm happy because they are communicating, and that's a success. But let's think, is it enough to have just one productive activity to say that, wow, my students have succeeded? I'm a lexical teacher because they use Lexis for communication successfully. Well, just once it may be done by chance, I can never know, and practice makes perfect. So let's have a look what High Note has in stock and what we can easily use for our lessons. So next activity is called Reflect. So the idea is to organize a discussion. Fashion shows often present size zero models. Do you think this is a problem? Well, that's our topic. That's something that teenagers always have an opinion about, even if they have never thought of the question of the issue before. When you ask them the question, they'll say, yeah, why not? Or what's the problem? Or come on, how can they be doing that? And that's something that goes beyond communication, beyond learning English. So this is, well, not just language skills. This is us working on life skills, on the 21st century skills. This is ability to communicate, to organize discussions. You can do it in pairs, in groups, in teams. And this is the program that develops throughout the course and allows your students to form all the necessary skills to be an effective member of modern society and to have a wonderful and successful life. By the way, if you're interested in the topic, so my moderator Julia has done a fantastic webinar on life skills and on the idea of their development, which I believe either already is or will be available on our website quite soon, so you can watch it there. Yeah, so you lets you check it out. You can watch the recording of Julia's webinar and, well, get into the topic more. But we are talking about teaching lexically. So sorry, Julia, back to our topic. Well, we've done 2 activities where students just had to use the language we taught in their communication, and they had to think of what they are going to say. So that was some productive activity. But High Note has yet another activity where they get a question, who is your style icon at the moment? Well, that changes. With teenagers, things change, well, every minute, every hour. So the task is to find a photo and write a description. It's up to you what kind of productive activity you want. This can be done as writing. So it can be writing a letter to a friend about a style icon. It can be writing a newspaper article, a for and against essay, etc., etc., etc. So whatever general skill or just writing skill you want to develop, that's easily transformed into that. And if you want your students to talk more, you just ask them to report that to the group. And if you want to connect life skills into that, well, it can be done as a presentation. So your students prepare or shoot a short video and just show the video, or show some clips or pictures of their style icon and then explain why that's important for them and why they think that's a good example. So it's up to you how you vary the task, but it's all in there just for you to use it. And no preparation needed, which is the best thing. Let's move further. That was us having some basic steps. Of course, the order you do them varies. And of course, you sometimes sacrifice with sounds, with features, etc., because we are always pressed for time, and that's life, that's reality. But another thing that's also our reality is when we talk about teaching new Lexis, it isn't the way that we have here. It's something much more complicated. That's something that looks like this. And that's why another part of the algorithm will be repeat steps again and again and again. And I can just put this again and again and myself on repeat and go away, and still there won't be enough again said. And I'm sure you as teachers know this much, much better than anyone else. Things are learned quite fast, but they are forgotten twice faster. That's life, but something retains in the memory, and that's a really important thing. So that was us working on Lexis and working on units of meaning, not just isolated words, so putting everything into, well, sentences, bigger phrases, learning to say it, to use it, personalizing. And basically that's our next tip, which is as simple as follow the algorithms of language mastering. So remember that when we want to say, my students have mastered 100 new words or 5 new words, well, what we have in mind is not only they can write it, say it, and know what it means, but they can put it in various communicative situations. So they can use it in communication effectively and in different types of situations. Now, so phonics, yeah, they are part of this process, definitely. Someone has heard of high note a lot. Yes, and on our Facebook page, I'll show you the link later, we have a competition where you can get high note for free and enjoy all the wonderful activities. So, Christina, you can buy it in a shop or you can simply win it. That would be a nice present for the St. Valentine's Day. We'll get to the Facebook page in a minute with the postulate. So we are almost over and you'll be able to choose dresses. Um, so we as lexical teachers know that our priority is communication, language, lexis, and effective usage of all of this. And I personally believe that it is not possible unless you immerse your students into authentic resources. And that's why the very last tip sounds just like that. And by authentic, I mean not just the resources that were printed in an English-speaking country, and not just the resources that are unabridged. Well, on the contrary, there is such a term as authentic learning resources, which includes resources that were developed specifically for the language learning purposes. And that's something quite common. Now, how an authentic resource can help a lexical teacher? It engages your students by providing some real-life situations that are interesting for your students because they're all different ages, different interests, different reality they live in. So an authentic resource has something for them. And one of a really good example of authenticity is the extra resources that are included into your book. So let's try something with you. In a second, we'll watch a short part of a video from High Notes 3 and you get a task, of course. As a good teacher, I'm giving a task. So what's the vocabulary focus of the lesson? So short clip, the question is, listen and think of the vocabulary. Now, let's try. The chat will disappear. I'll stay here. Okay, so hopefully everyone is ready.
I'm wearing jeans, boots, old t-shirts I find, and just jackets I like.
I'm travelling at the moment, so I'm trying to wear just something that's comfortable, so something quite loose that I can walk around in, active wear, so like gym tights, sneakers, that kind of thing.
Some of the clothes I like wearing this year are comfy but stylish clothes with maybe fun patterns and things. I don't like anything too fancy because I think it gets in the way of practical life.
This year I'm mostly wearing cropped jeans and baggy loose-fitting t-shirts, and that's like my main look this year.
Okay, hopefully I'm back. So the chat is back and the people are back. Type in your answers. Yes, okay. So actually, lots of guesses. Clothes. Yes, people were talking about clothes. And I'm going to help you a little bit. That's a video from the very same unit, which was on appearances, clothes, accessories, everything. And the trick is that this is a grammar video. So this one was used to let your students see grammar in real world. But of course, yeah, it has lexis. It shows words in real life situations used by people from, well, that's done in streets of London. People there in the videos are just different people who walk around the streets of London who your students might talk to. And it was students answering the clothes and styles they are wearing in the season. So nicely done. And that's an example of authenticity, where the topic is quite interesting because, well, everyone wants to know what their peers in London are wearing, or just people who walk around, and what's common. And they hear the language naturally used by people in the world, in the context, in the situation, and they see also the grammar points used. So that's a combination of everything that's a key to successful communication. And that's an example of a quality, authentic resource. Let's move further. So we are almost done. I'll share with you a couple of things, and we are having a lottery. Because as you've been promised in your emails, I hope you read your emails, and the fact that you're here, so you follow the link. 3 lucky people today will go home with a very nice prize. So just a second. Let's move further. So that's High Note 3, which is well, a new resource that has been on the market just for a couple of days. So I have it in the office. Not many people have it. If you want to win it, please follow our website. Now, moving further, that's the webinar we had today. And if you want to know more about teaching lexically, and if you are interested in horizontal and vertical language development and the opportunities for their easy and successful use in the classrooms, as well as if you're looking for some ready-made ideas that a true lexical teacher would appreciate, or if you're interested how to apply bridging into your classroom or what bridging is, as well as how we can combine teaching and learning and assessing lexis, please feel free to join a next webinar of the series, Teaching Lexically, which is to happen on the 9th of April. So hopefully I'll meet you at 5:30, so almost the same time, on the 9th of April. To read more information, please follow the link that's on the screen, events.theinternal.com.ua/webinar2. You can read more about the session, and you can register for the session. And as has been promised, 3 lucky people will get a prize. The prize is a chance to attend this webinar, Are You a Lexical Teacher? Second part of the series, for free. So I have a randomizer. Oh, no, sorry, that's not it. That's the randomizer. That was the quiz. Those of you who are using the link is clickable. That's Julia telling you. If you click on the link, you should get to the website, so you don't need to copy the link, but you can copy it. That's what I do. Now, if you see just a gray screen and that you cannot see something, that's okay. It's not available because you don't have the application, but you will be able to watch their recording and check that I did not cheat. So 3 people just will win a chance to visit a webinar. I'll voice everything. So that's a randomizer. I just click the button and everyone who's present right now gets a chance because the system picks just 1 person. And those of you who have the application see that I'm not taking part. Well, but I will be taking part in the webinar. No worries. So let's check who is winning. The first person. It's spinning, and Marina Kostina is a lucky winner number 1. 2 more to go. So people are thanking me. Please just don't go away. Wait, you might win a session. So Marina Cristina, you can write hello to everyone that you are a real person and you have not left. So congratulations to you. 2 more people to go. Number 2. And that is Natalia Ptycha. I hope I am not mispronouncing. Yulia will type it. So Marina Cristina is saying hello. Marina, you are a lucky winner. And Natalia, you are a lucky winner as well. And there is 1 more person. So let's not keep anyone waiting. So that's Olha Barsukova. Today we have 3 women. Last time we had a nice gentleman. So Olha Barsukova, please also stay in touch. Yes, so Yulia has congratulated you. I'm taking away the randomizer because I was allowed to give away just 3 sessions. Next time, Olha, we have more webinars coming, and but hopefully you won some useful ideas and you had some nice time in the community of like-minded people. That's something that I enjoyed a lot, so thanks a lot to you. Now, that's a webinar. If you are interested, you can read more. If you click on the link, it takes you to the page. Our Facebook page. I told you that there is a chance to win High Note free of charge. The competition is, you can find more information on our Facebook page. You do a short quiz. Well, and then you have to shoot a video, a short one, no truly special requirements, just a typical one, and then you're sure to get the book. So I think someone has already completed the steps, and so some books have already been taken, but we have 100 books to give away for free, so hurry up, because there are over 300 people here right now, and there was a webinar before that, and some more webinars are coming. Don't lose your chance. So Yulia is sending you links to the competition info, so don't miss on that. And that's our website, and there you can see our webinars, and there are tests to, well, all the recent ones and the ones we did last year and a year before that, I think. You can just complete the tests, watch the webinars, get certificates, enjoy some time spent together with us, send us nice messages, and that's it. So I believe this is all information now. So the internal education here with you. Thank you so much for spending this hour and something with us today. It has been great pleasure. We have like 2-3 minutes for questions if there are any. It's nice to have you here. Please, we have a lot. I'm happy if that was useful for you. I had a great time with you here. Hopefully Yulia had some quality time as well. I hope you have some fantastic Valentine's Day and, well, a nice second term of the year, school year, and nice plans for summer holidays. And I hope I'll see you before your summer holidays. So follow our events, come to our sessions. We are always happy to see you. Now, any questions? Oh, that's very nice. So we love you too. See, I have a heart somewhere here. Yay. So have some good time, relax, whatever relaxing means for you, but just don't check the tests. That's not relaxing. Even if you think it is, it isn't. Okay, so webinars are coming, done by me, done by my colleagues, and there are Pearson webinars available also. So lots of useful stuff for self-development, and I'm happy that you're finding time to join us. So thank you. If you remember of something, then feel free to, well, send us an email. So thanks everyone. I'll be saying goodbye and see you soon.